My beloved, do you think it's an accident that you're hearing my voice right now? No. Heaven planned this moment long before you took your first breath. Here on Holy Voices, we share the whispers of eternity, the messages that change hearts and awaken destinies. If your soul is ready, stay with me, because what you're about to hear might be the very word your spirit has been waiting for. We are not just counting numbers, we are raising voices. Be one of the 40,000 by subscribing to Holy Voices. Cosmic law reacts with deadly accuracy when someone pushes past all limits and disregards all warnings. And that last line was just passed by your adversary. Someone who has been pursuing you is in the early phases of their own spectacular collapse, which was brought on by the same hatred that they believed would destroy you. They wanted more than what you had. They desired to be like you, to take your essence and dress up your fate like a stolen garment. You told them not to take another step. Stay away from me. However, your adversary gazed at you with those nefarious, hateful, and delusional eyes and began to play games, taking a step forward, then stepping back, and then beginning that little dance of arrogance that arrogant people perform just before the world permanently humbles them. This went beyond simple defiance. This was a spoof of divine authority in theater. Your enemy wanted to demonstrate to you who was in charge. Intended to scare you. Wanted you to understand that someone as great as them would not take your warning seriously. It was pride before the fall in its most focused, pure form, that tiny back and forth, that moment of teasing. Because you were worried about what might happen to you, you didn't warn them. You could see something that was out of their line of sight, therefore you were alerting them. Because of your spiritual vision, you were able to see the trap that awaits anyone who is stupid enough to disregard cosmic law. Your heavenly essence forced you to provide one final opportunity at salvation when you sensed the emptiness coming. That opportunity was turned down. Your empathy was interpreted as a sign of weakness. Your kindness was taken as a sign of fear. They wrote off your warning as evidence of success. Thus, the decision was made. The game halted. Calculation was replaced by hatred. The attack started like a predator pursuing what appeared to be a kill. At that point, multiple steps were taken instead of simply one more. At that point, reality shattered their illusion into a million fragments. Then something occurred that will be talked about for decades to come in spiritual circles. As soon as their foot should have made contact with solid ground, they started to flex, point, and twinkle their toes. They then started to rotate their ankles in ways that shouldn't have been possible. Hold on a second. Confidence gave way to confusion. My feet were flat on the ground when I ran. I was unable to perform all of this ankle rotation and toe wriggling. When they peered down, they saw that the dark emptiness had taken them. The exact gap you had been warning them about. The extraordinary timing of divine justice is revealed at this very time, this exact crystalline moment. The world can't just stop someone who is out to hurt you. According to cosmic law, everything must be fully understood before any repercussions arise. Perfect clarity was attained in that suspended instant, hovering in the emptiness. There was always that emptiness. This trap wasn't put in place especially to catch you. Your enemy's choice of identity created this trap. Someone whose entire identity was based on pure envy. I have to tell you something now that will make you feel less guilty about this circumstance. Long before they ever laid eyes on you, your adversary was bound for that emptiness. Special punishments are not created by the universe. It merely permits decisions to have outcomes that were mathematically unavoidable from the beginning. For years, this individual has been making the same harmful decisions. Functioning in every aspect of life out of jealousy, animosity, and entitlement. Rejecting advice from those who cared, ignoring cautions from others, and persuading oneself that laws that applied to everyone else somehow did not apply to oneself. You were only in their path when cosmic law shouted, "Enough." Your warning was not the reason they fell. Before heavenly justice ran its course, it was a last act of kindness. Their pattern of decisions had already decided the outcome, whether or not you were heard. Someone with their precise spiritual signature was needed to fill the hole. Everything you believe to be true about this circumstance will be altered by the discovery of this concealed audience. Others were there for amusement, hoping to witness the manifestation of cosmic justice. Others were there because there had been covert aspirations for the defeat of your adversary. And some were present because it had been made possible by silent efforts behind the scenes. A large throng was watching your enemy dash toward disaster behind the scenes. They could see the emptiness. Your cautions were taken into consideration. The haughty reaction was observed. And this is going to surprise you. It was amusing. In a cosmic justice manner, not in a cruel one. There was curiosity about what might happen if someone so arrogant disregarded clear warnings. Some of these onlookers had attempted to alert your adversary directly. Leave them alone. You're playing with fire. This is not the battle you want to pick. Such statements had been made, but your adversary was so certain of his superior status that all cautions were written off as jealousy or fear. Your adversary was unaware that so many people were observing. It was believed that you and them were engaged in a private conflict. There was no indication that the behavior had attracted a large number of witnesses who would never forget this fall. You weren't the only one who witnessed the collapse when it ultimately happened. For much too long, someone who had been getting away with poisonous behavior was being caught by cosmic law, which dozens of people had been waiting for. For those who were supposed to rejoice over you, the fall turned into a source of amusement. Promote this video to reach more chosen people on this trip if this message triggered your knowing. Let me now disclose the true cause of your adversary's intense desire to destroy you. They wanted more than your opportunity, status, or achievement. It was something far darker that was wanted. The plan was to do a full destiny switch. It was thought that if you were removed from the equation, all that was cosmically assigned to you could be claimed and someone could slide right into your life. This explains why the attack seemed so intrusive, intimate, and offensive. They were targeting more than just what you possessed. They were chasing you for who you are. Your energy was examined. Your body language was examined. We looked at how you navigated the world. In order to somehow persuade the universe to forget who the true chosen one was, your own essence was meant to be taken and worn as a costume. Since destiny isn't influenced by other factors, it cannot be stolen. Internal alignment is the key. Your frequency, your character, and your soul's resonance with divine purpose are what draw the gifts that are coming your way. What was intended for you would not have been accessible even if you had been removed in some way. The energy around this whole situation at the moment is supplier energy, cash flow, influence, and powerhouse status. Your adversary observed precisely this, which set off a full-blown envious mental collapse. This explains why the charge against you occurred as if someone were possessed. It was evident that you were becoming a powerful financial force. It was noted that you were becoming a business powerhouse. It was acknowledged that you provided solutions that people really needed. Some of you have been in circumstances at work where simply being genuine made you a threat to insecure coworkers or supervisors. There was no attempt at intimidation. It just occurred that I showed up with that innate powerhouse energy that exposes weak individuals. Your very existence signaled that change was inevitable and unmanageable. Your adversary believed that the program was better. Your growing power was noticed and determined to be a danger that needed to be eliminated. They looked at your tremendous energy and believed it might be destroyed, controlled, or taken. The fact that someone working under divine protection was being watched remained unknown. However, there is another energy at play here. Someone calm, considerate, and perceptive. This might be a significant other entering your life, or it could be you and how you're seen. In any case, the combination stands for heavenly partnership, genuine power, and ideal equilibrium. Everyone is aware that fortune is currently working in your favor. This is a huge selection. The most spectacular turn of your life is about to occur. The universe is putting together your ideal partner if you're single. Ideal partners are being positioned if you're starting a business. If you're gifted, the proper circumstances are coming along. Your adversary anticipated all of this and believed that a destiny swap might be carried out. There was a belief that you could dash toward someone, force them out of your position, and somehow fool the cosmos into blessing you when the wheel turned. It was believed that timing was crucial and that your cosmic appointment may be snatched if you were simply removed at the correct time. This is the degree of deception that is being addressed. It was believed that someone who was so cut off from spiritual truth might outsmart divine timing and take control of someone else's destiny. We saw your breakthrough coming like a blessing-laden freight train. Additionally, your derailment was chosen rather than their own course. However, that is not how fortune operates. It reacts to spiritual harmony rather than precise placement. Instead of location, it recognizes soul signatures. You can be found wherever you are when the time comes. You cannot take someone else's time by standing in their place. Party energy was going on behind the scenes while your adversary was busy planning how to destroy you. Community, friendship, and celebration were growing. This scenario was being watched by others, and they found amusement in it. Not because there was malice, but rather because what your adversary couldn't see was evident. The aggressor was going to have a very bad finish to this. Inadvertently, your adversary had incited a group of observers. Some people were cheering you on. Others merely wanted to know if someone could truly be so conceited as to disregard clear warnings and rush into blatant ruin. They were all preparing to see cosmic justice at work. The most exquisite aspect. Your adversary believed you were engaged in a private conflict. There was no knowledge that a crowd had been attracted who would see the breathtaking fall and never forget it. When the fall into that void eventually occurred, the audience gathered to witness self-destruction was invisible since the concentration was so focused on you. You weren't the only one who witnessed it. This story would be told for years to come by a large community of witnesses. The fall turned into a lesson about what happens when ego and jealousy triumph over spiritual understanding and common sense. There is nostalgia and nostalgic energy on the upper vibrational end. You're going to chuckle at this whole thing when you look back on it. You may be sweating and experiencing the heat of this spiritual battle right now in the boiler room. The void your enemy is going to plunge into is invisible to you, which makes you anxious. However, I'm here to assure you that this will become a treasured memory, a tale you share in awe at the flawless functioning of divine justice. The way your adversary rushed toward you like a cartoon character leaping off a cliff will make you giggle. You will be amazed at that instance of dangling in midair. At last, recognizing that something was seriously off, they were able to rotate their ankles and wiggle their toes. Except for them, everyone saw this coming. They were presumably warned by a lot of people, but it was nevertheless done. You're going to say to folks, this is going to be a memorable experience. Write it down. Take a picture. Make a movie. Every time you give, you break the spirit of lack. A $50 seed into Holy Voices is declaring abundance over your life. A testimony that exemplifies the reality of cosmic protection and motivates others. This tale of divine vindication will fill the magazines of your memory. You will recall your level of fear, the intensity of the situation at the time, and how flawlessly everything turned out in the end. This event will serve as evidence that you can operate under supernatural protection. There is shadow energy surrounding perfect union on the low vibrational end. Your adversary wants your happiness. Business, collaboration, romantic fulfillment, family harmony, or all of the above are examples of that. When they saw the happiness entering your life, they decided they deserved it more. However, the exact reverse is about to happen when someone tries to take away your happiness. Finding out who was truly on their side versus who was there merely for amusement is taking the place of family support. The emptiness of receiving exactly what one has earned will be felt in place of fulfillment. The turmoil of reconstructing a whole existence from pieces will be addressed in place of harmony. When they learn about the fall, the same people who were amused by the attack on you will suddenly be the target of the joke. Since fulfillment cannot be taken, the fulfillment that was believed could be obtained by removing you will always be out of reach. Only by aligning oneself with divine purpose can one acquire it. Everything I've been telling you will be verified in the most amazing way over the next few days. There is a rise in genuine authority. The actual article, the real powerhouse, the real thing. Your adversary was a fake attempting to replace the authentic. You are now taking your proper place since the scam is being exposed. When I first introduced you to powerful energy, you may recall that someone was vying for your position of influence. The genuine version of you is being raised while the fake is being eliminated. This reflects the awareness of energy investors and big success providers. You are now completely exercising your financial authority. The final result becomes apparent. Glow, shine, and fame. This is the reason your adversary initially targeted you. You could see this degree of prosperity and recognition entering your life, and it was coveted. However, you can't take away someone's brilliance. Only you can create your own. But hold on, chosen one, your enemy's dramatic plunge into that emptiness is not where the story ends. What you're going to learn is that devastation has a cascading effect that is revealing a whole network of individuals who are covertly supporting your enemy. Shock waves travel through all of the connections when someone falls that severely, so openly, and so thoroughly. People who were surreptitiously providing your enemy with information are currently rushing to get away from the wreckage. Colleagues who were subtly disparaging you while feigning neutrality are now attempting to win your favor. Now, family members who had doubts about your future are phoning to congratulate you on your accomplishment. The lovely thing about cosmic justice is this. Eliminating a single threat is not enough. This exposes the whole negative ecology that was against you. The fall of your adversary is like plucking a single thread that reveals secrets, envy, and deceit. Some of these individuals will attempt to appear innocent by pretending that there was never any uncertainty or support for your adversary's campaign against you. Others will try to minimize the harm by apologizing and making explanations. Some may even attempt to change history by asserting that you always had support. However, you will possess extraordinary insight regarding who truly merits a second opportunity and who is merely attempting to avoid the repercussions of choosing the incorrect path. This experience has calibrated your spiritual radar, allowing you to distinguish genuine energy from fake energy with extreme precision. The most startling aspect is that some of the individuals rushing to escape your dead foe were the ones who initially incited the attack. In the ear of your adversary, poison was whispered. You were made to feel like a threat that needed to be eliminated, which fueled jealousy. Your adversary is currently being observed and is suffering the consequences of acts that were aided in their planning. The spectacular downfall of your adversary is more than simply personal validation. For all the other chosen ones who might have been the next to be targeted, it's cosmic protection. You see, individuals such as your adversary typically don't stop with just one victim. Operation follows a pattern of spotting threats and making a methodical effort to get rid of them. It would have been a protracted campaign of destruction, and you were simply the most recent victim. However, the spectacular failure in trying to destroy you has made it very evident to anyone else who would be thinking of launching an attack of this nature. There are forces beyond human comprehension that protect the chosen ones. The demise of your enemy has turned into a warning story that will be discussed in circles where individuals conspire against those who follow divine destiny. Those who were covertly preparing their own assaults on selected individuals are now seriously reconsidering their actions. It was seen that your adversary disregarded clear cautions, charged into evident devastation, and was humiliated completely in front of onlookers. There are concerns regarding whether the potential benefits outweigh the chance of suffering the same outcome. This explains why your trial was so fierce, so well publicized, and so abruptly ended. The universe didn't have to keep you safe. It was necessary to send a message that would shield innumerable other selected individuals against future attacks of this nature. Your triumph has turned into a shield protecting people you will never meet in circumstances you will never be aware of. Let's now discuss what your adversary is truly going through in that space. This goes beyond simple punishment. The purpose of this cosmic transformation chamber is to totally destroy false identities and provide an opportunity to reconstruct with real elements. Everything that was believed to make them strong, significant, or better is stripped away by the nothingness. If a person's identity was based on their profession, then their career is failing in ways that make them reevaluate everything they believe to be true about success. If reputation was the foundation of self-worth, then that reputation is being destroyed so completely that it is necessary to discover oneself while no one is looking or cheering. The vacuum does not just remove objects from the outside. Internal delusions are eliminated. Your adversary is being made to face all of the lies they have persuaded themselves about why they deserved what was rightfully yours. Every excuse for malevolent action is being scrutinized from a cosmic perspective and is being shown to be insufficient. There is a chance for true salvation even amid punishment. The emptiness is upsetting, humiliating, and unpleasant. It's purifying, though. Emergence as a totally different person may occur if the decision is taken to use this period for genuine self-examination and transformation. Your energy signature is undergoing an incredible change while your adversary is going through a breakdown in the void. Experiencing this ordeal and seeing cosmic justice in action has changed your spiritual vibration forever. As someone who could be attacked, the operation is no longer taking place. Operating as someone who has received public validation from supernatural entities. You are drawing entirely new experiences, connections, and opportunities as a result of this change in your energy. People can tell that an operation is taking place with a higher degree of security. There is now a sense that it would be cosmically hazardous for them to try to hurt you. Potential adversaries are now discouraged by your very existence. But protection isn't the only consideration. Additionally, your energy signature broadcasts vindication, victory, and divine favor. People who wish to be associated with someone who has received public blessings from the cosmos are drawn to this. Previously closed doors are now opening on their own. Previously unthinkable conversations are now occurring spontaneously. The message that follows is intended only for the selected. This is not for you if you are under the influence of archonic forces. And we give you permission to leave based on the spiritual authority that the Holy Voice's Inner Order's secret chiefs have given us. If not, steel yourself and pay close attention, for you will be redeemed just like we are. There is no program for the Holy Voice's Inner Order. It's not a class. It's not a spiritual retreat that makes you feel good. Answers are not what we sell. Together, we recall. We teach interference, implants, genuine energetic shielding against beings, and psychic self-defense. We bring back the raw, instantaneous, and precise manifestation that was intended. We meet in secret once a week to awaken and speak what cannot be uttered elsewhere, not to worship. To gradually deprogram the matrix. If you're supposed to be there, you'll know it. Your bones will sense it. The selected group meets via Zoom once a week. Why don't you join us already? Have glosses? Join the Inner Order of Holy Voices. The description contains a link. In fact, you're learning that your spiritual development was expedited by your enemy's attack in ways that years of calm growth might not have accomplished. The stress of an attack compelled you to use levels of power, faith, and clarity you were unaware you had. Your development into a stronger version of yourself was sparked by malice. The fact that this energy shift is permanent is its most lovely feature. It is impossible to return to a state of doubting cosmic justice or divine protection. It has been observed to function mathematically precisely in your own life. Enemies have been known to defeat themselves by their own decisions. Now carried is the unwavering faith of one who is aware of the existence of cosmic protection. What I refer to as the magnet effect is being produced by your newly discovered energy signature. Everything your adversary attempted to keep you from having is now attracted to you, but it is amplified exponentially. The business possibilities that you attempted to block are now coming your way with more promise and better terms. Connections that function at a far greater frequency are taking the place of the relationships that were attempted to be destroyed. Interference-delayed financial riches is now coming your way like water pouring through a dam that just exploded. Campaigns that stifled recognition are now showing up in ways that surpass your prior expectations. Whisper campaigns were undermining influence, but now it's spreading into areas you never imagined. This is the magnet effect's most potent component, though. Attraction is more than just what you would have gotten initially. Improvements are being sought after. Better and better replicas of whatever your adversary attempted to take. Your $20 super thanks may look small, but in God's hands, small seeds bring great harvests. Mark 4 verses 31 to 32. It's as if the world is providing you access to opportunities that are far superior to what was attempted to be taken as payment for enduring the onslaught. The strike by your adversary didn't simply fail. Your entire trajectory improved as a result of the spectacular backfire. There was a thought that you were rushing to steal your blessings. However, it was actually happening as you ran toward your blessings to upgrade them through the cosmic recompense process. The stunning collapse of your adversary has acted as a cosmic mirror, revealing an important aspect of your own strength that you may not have previously fully understood. In reality, the ferocity of the attack, the desperate tactics, and the totality of the fixation all demonstrated your true power. Consider it. When someone isn't a real threat to a false sense of security, people typically don't go to such extraordinary measures to eliminate them. In essence, your enemy's actions were cosmic affirmation that they possessed something that they knew they could never rightfully acquire or cultivate within themselves. Your brilliance was so dazzling that jealousy consumed me. Your potential was so great that the attack was so savage. Because the power being attempted to be stolen was so real and twistedly safeguarded, collapse was so total. In fact, malice was evidence of your importance. Your perspective on yourself and your role in the world is evolving as a result of this realization. People are starting to realize that they don't need to reduce their lights to make others feel comfortable. It's not necessary to minimize presence in order to prevent upsetting insecure people. It's not necessary to apologize for operating at a frequency that exposes weak people. There's more to your triumph against this foe than self-validation. Those that act out of jealousy and malice are breaking generational patterns of selected ones being suppressed, degraded, or destroyed. People may have backed out of heavenly assignments for generations in your family line because the opposition was too strong or the expense felt too great. But with you, you didn't back down. There was standing in authority. Integrity was upheld, and what could not be resolved in the physical world was left to cosmic justice. A spiritual bond that may have held your family together for decades or even centuries has been severed by your success. Your spiritual victory will be passed on to subsequent generations in your family line. They will encounter difficulties, but they won't have to overcome the same tendency to retreat from their goals when adversaries appear. A new standard has been set by your victory. Select members of your family are immune to malevolent assaults. It is possible to rise above them and watch adversaries demolish themselves. Through your ancestry, this victory is also mending backward. Your victory is vindicating others chosen who came before you and may have been muted or suppressed by similar attacks. The cosmic justice you've seen is acknowledging problems in the past and proving that suppression was never right or lasting. Seeing your cosmic vindication has caused a significant change in the way reality reacts to you. The universe seems to have upgraded your security clearance, granting you access to experiences, insights, and possibilities that function at a totally other level than what you were previously able to access. This is not conceit or fantasy. It's the inevitable outcome of having cosmic powers publicly validate you. When someone has been formally verified as functioning under divine protection, reality recognizes it and makes the necessary adjustments. The energetic equivalent of diplomatic immunity is being used to move through life. The way possible issues settle themselves before they ever get to you is also impacted by the frequency change. Unexpected events and enigmatic coincidences now resolve conflicts that might have needed your direct engagement. Individuals that could have caused you problems abruptly decide to change their opinions or divert their focus. The most obvious shift, though, is in how you make decisions. There is now access to a degree of intuitive clarity that makes decisions that previously appeared difficult clear. When something is in line with your path, feelings can arise. Additionally, this challenge has permanently improved your spiritual radar to recognize distractions and traps. Your cosmic vindication and victory against the enemy are already leaving a legacy that will outlive you. For decades to come, the tale of the person who disregarded divine warnings, plummeted into a clear emptiness, and endured total humiliation while attempting to steal your destiny will serve as a source of inspiration and protection for other chosen ones. In order to comprehend how cosmic justice functions in real time, people will examine this scenario. Your adversary's faults will be analyzed so they don't make the same ones in their own life. Your answers will be examined in order to determine how the selected one should behave in the event of an assault. Your experience is turning into a case study on a number of important spiritual ideas. The real mechanism of heavenly protection. Why you should never disregard warnings. What occurs when someone attempts to take another person's fate and how cosmic justice functions precisely and at the right moment. You're leaving a legacy that goes beyond motivation to include practical defense. When other chosen ones are attacked in a similar manner, they might use the spiritual precedent that your victory has set. You can use your circumstances as evidence that cosmic law exists and is in effect. That those who are chosen are ultimately impervious to malice, and that adversaries do vanquish themselves. I want you to see the full scope of what has been achieved via your trial by fire as we approach the conclusion of this cosmic drama, Chosen One. You are not returning to your former life. With a few improvements, there are openings into a completely new kingdom with distinct possibilities and restrictions. The demise of your enemy removed more than simply roadblocks. Whole areas of possibilities that had previously been closed were opened up. You can now sow the seeds of your enlarged purpose in the same nothingness that once engulfed them. The devastation made room for you to build something great. Your raised consciousness is matched by the frequency of the people who are now entering your life. It is possible to understand power without feeling threatened by it. Without attempting to take over, divine assignment is recognized. You celebrate your victory without secretly formulating a plan to sabotage it. The tranquility that results from knowing that you are protected by the cosmos is the most exquisite feature of your new kingdom. It is no longer necessary to waste energy speculating about whether foes will launch successful attacks or whether justice will ultimately win out. In your own life, it has been observed that cosmic law operates with mathematical precision. You fell because your adversary went too far. However, this story was never about the fall. Your ascent was the main point. The important thing was that you acknowledged your own divine might. The key was your realization that nothing and no one can ever defeat you when everything is carried out in perfect accordance with cosmic law. What was rightfully the voids has been taken. The scam has been uncovered and eliminated. The real has come to light and is being embraced. And at last, you have the amazing freedom to become whatever you were always meant to be. Your greatest triumph was sparked by your enemy's biggest error. The very thing that threw you into a world of possibilities was the attempt to take your destiny. Your enemy could never have guessed, much less gained access to, it. Greetings from your chosen reality. The kingdom you currently govern was established on the foundation of your own character, which has been tried and tested by fire, rather than the wreckage of your enemy's schemes. The crown you currently wear was created by your own decisions to uphold justice, truth, and love, not by their defeat. Your attacker went too far, and you fell when it would have been simpler to choose retaliation, resentment, or fear. However, you rose, and your reign is just getting started. What once claimed your enemy has now become the springboard for your rise. The hate that was unleashed upon you has been converted into the very force that propels you to previously unthinkable heights. Your wisdom is now demonstrated by every caution you issued that was disregarded. Your divine nature has been demonstrated by every instance of mercy you have shown that was turned down. Every compassionate deed that was seen as weakness has turned into evidence of your true strength. Everything was observed by the universe. Every decision was documented by cosmic law. Every aim was evaluated by divine justice. The final decision has finally been made. You've been proven right. You've been promoted. You are crowned with a triumph that will last forever. The greatest act of hatred committed by your adversary served as the impetus for your greatest victory. The precise mechanism that allowed your destiny to be fulfilled beyond your wildest expectations was their attempt to destroy it. The universe functions in this manner. Selected one. Cosmic justice develops like this. This is the manifestation of divine protection. The path to your complete and absolute success was paved when your adversary went too far and fell into the void they created. The narrative is finished. We've learned our lesson. It's your victory. Greetings from your new kingdom, where your vision becomes reality, your word becomes law, and your destiny plays out just as it was always supposed to. Beloved soul, if this message has spoken to your heart, don't let it end here. Click that like button so the light can spread to more people who need hope. Subscribe to Holy Voices so you never miss the next word heaven has for you. And leave a comment below. I read every one, and I pray over them. Remember, faith grows when we share it, so share this message with someone who needs to hear it today. Until we meet again, may God's peace cover you and His voice guide your every step.